Hi everyone. In this video we're going to talk about logic, some symbols about logic, and some keywords here, 3 words that are going to help us better understand statements and how to analyze and think about them. If you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and do that right now. Click like, and let's continue watching. Alright, so let's start with the very basics. A statement. A statement is a sentence that is either true or false. And we usually call a statement by a letter. So we can call a statement P or Q or R or any letter. We're going to call this first statement P. And if you see here, we have soccer games are during the winter season. It's just a regular statement, right? In Northside or in a school district, soccer games are during winter season. So this statement would be true. Not that we're trying to figure out if it's true or false, but we're just calling this whole statement P. Okay, statement Q, statement R, etc. Now, if you have multiple statements, like here I added another statement that says calculus is an elective math course in high school. It's optional, right? A compound statement is when you start combining statements like P or Q or P and Q. So when you start putting 2 or more statements together, you start using 2 different symbols or 2 different words to combine these 2 statements. You can say and, or you can use the word or. Okay? And we're going to talk about 2 types of compound statements, a conjunction and a disjunction. Right? We're going to talk about a symbol that combines it with and a symbol that combines it with or. So let's give it a try. Before we do that, we're going to talk about negation. So we want to be able to analyze a statement, and we want to be able to negate a statement. We use this squiggly line, this symbol that you see here, as a way to negate or have the opposite meaning of a statement. So if your original statement is P, soccer games are during the winter season, then the negation of P is also known as the opposite of P. Right? You can call this the opposite. You can also call this not, or you can call this the negation. There are several ways of saying this symbol. And what we're really saying is we're talking about the opposite of the original statement. So if soccer games are during the winter season, the negation would be soccer games are not during the winter season. We don't change the sport, we don't change the season, all we do is we change it to the opposite meaning. Okay? And now if you notice, the original statement is true. So when you negate it and you do the opposite, then it should turn into a false. That's just an extra little freebie. Here we have statement Q saying angle bisector cuts an angle in half. Right? An angle bisector cuts an angle in half. That is true. It's going to cut it in half. How do I write the negation of that statement? So what we want to say is an angle bisector does not cut an angle in half. And that's what we would write. So you want to think about opposite. You want to think about the word not really is what you're trying to find in your statement as the negation of a symbol or negation of a statement. Here we're moving on to conjunction, right? This is how we're going to compound these statements. We're going to combine them and separate them. We're going to combine 2 different statements using this symbol. And this symbol is representing the word and. So if you look at these 2 examples that we've already done, we have soccer games are during the winter season, and then the other statement is calculus is an elective math course in high school. So when I read this statement P and Q, we're going to take these 2 statements and we're going to combine them by using the word and. So soccer games are during the winter season and calculus is an elective math course in high school. That's really all we're trying to say. We're combining them. This is a compound statement that combines 2 statements with and. The way I like to remember conjunction symbol is I write the word and I write the N with the symbol. It looks like an N to me, right? Some people think that this is like an A without the line, and that reminds them of the word and. However you want to remember, but this symbol, this conjunction symbol, means that you're combining it. Okay, you're combining 2 statements with and. The next and last symbol is for disjunction. This is when you use the word or. Okay, now notice how the symbol is flipped upside down. Now we have a V-looking symbol to represent that. So if we're reading this statement, P or Q, what it's saying is that we have soccer games are during the winter season, or calculus is an elective math course in high school. Now I know when you put the word or, it sounds like a question, but it really isn't. It's just a statement that we're trying to say. It's this or it's this, right? Only one of those two has to be true for the statement to be true. So let's put things together. We have 3 symbols so far. We have conjunction, we have disjunction, and we have negation. Right? So conjunction is and, disjunction is or, and negation is the opposite. We're now going to put these 3 symbols together and create statements that sums this all up. And this is more like a review of the entire video today. So when you're looking at a statement, we first want to be able to decode the symbols. What this is saying is we're saying statement P and not Q. That's really what we're trying to say. So I'm going to say P and not Q. Or if you prefer to say P and opposite of Q. In the end, we're going to look at P and Q only. We're going to ignore that R even exists. Right? Ignore it for now. We're not using it for this statement. And now I want to write the statement. So I start with P. Soccer games are during the winter season, and calculus is not an elective math course in high school. Right? Calculus is not, because we're having the negation of Q. And that's how you would write this statement. Let's look at the other one. Why don't you give the other one a try? What does this mean? What do these symbols represent? So we have the squiggly line, or the opposite of Q. This is upside down. We have the or symbol, R. Opposite of Q or R. That's what we're trying to interpret here. So not Q or R. The not part is the important part, or if you want to think of opposite of Q or R. It's definitely or, and it's got to be something with opposite. So now which letter are we not using? We're not using P, so I'm going to cancel P out of the equation so I don't get confused with it. And I'm going to focus on Q and R. But I'm looking at the opposite of Q. So calculus is not, we have to put not in here, is not an elective math course in high school, or geometry is the first type of math ever created. All right, we just take the R statement and we put it at the end of it. So calculus is not an elective math course in high school, or geometry was the first type of math ever created. We're not really interested in checking the validity or whether these statements are true or false. That would be the next step, but that goes beyond high school. For now, if you can read 3 statements or more and you can identify these 3 correct symbols and understand what you're trying to convey, that is all that matters. Please leave any questions you have below here in the comment section if you have any. If this video helped you, press the like button. If you haven't subscribed, let's go ahead and do it. And as always, we'll calculate later.